Dagenham and Redbridge Football Club have not been in the Football League for nearly a decade, and they were relegated just this past season to the National League South, the 6th tier of English football. However, brighter times are ahead with a new Qatari-led group taking over the football club. So I think it's time to rebuild this fallen London club and turn them into the potential Football League giants of the future. So today we're going to look at the transfers the club still need to make, who fit the style of play of manager Bradbury, who could gain promotion from the National League South straight back to the National League. And who knows, maybe one day this squad will get promoted to the Football League once again. So before we start this rebuild, I need you to do one more thing for me. Like the video if you've loved it, subscribe if you're new around here, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another upload. Now without further ado, let's get straight into this rebuild of Dagenham and Redbridge Football Club. So to kickstart this video, we need to take a look at where we stand in terms of the football club's history and where they're placed now. Originally formed in 1992 through the merger of Dagenham and Redbridge Forest, the club inherited a legacy of local footballing traditions. Initially competing in the Football Conference, now known as the National League, they faced relegation in 1996, but quickly rebounded, clinching the Isthmian League Premier Division title in the 1999-2000 season. In 2007, they clinched the Conference National title, earning promotion to the Football League for the first time in their history, and then 3 years later, they achieved promotion to League One via the League Two playoff final, defeating Rotherham United at Wembley Stadium, which remains a pinnacle win in the club's history. Now they were relegated back to League Two a year later before another relegation from League Two in 2016 back down to the Conference, then known and now known as the National League, and have not returned to the EFL since. They have had a long history in the 5th tier, but now there's hope. In July this year, they underwent a significant transformation with a full takeover by a consortium of prominent Qatari investors, and the acquisition was finalised after Club Underdog, the owners at the time, agreed to sell 100% of the club's shares. The Daggers have already made a load of great signings already as they aim for an immediate return to the 5th tier of English football. However, there were some standouts amongst all their transfers so far. Reggie Young is a versatile left-footed fullback and wing-back who signed a 1-year deal with the club after contributing significantly to Farnborough's promotion to the National League South back in 2022. Another great signing is George Marsh, who signed from Larne in Northern Ireland, and the 27-year-old midfielder has also had previous experience with clubs like AFC Wimbledon and AEL Limassol in Cyprus. But by far the biggest acquisition, probably in National League and National League South history, is this guy. Former England international and ex-Premier League striker Andy Carroll, who's joined the club on a 3-year deal from Bordeaux, as well as taking a minority ownership stake in the Qatari-led Takeover. So there's 3 big signings already amongst all of the others so far in the transfer window, as well as the manager, who's another brilliant signing at this level, and that is Bradbury, who's been a manager before in the National League and at National League South level, having previously taken Havant and Waterlooville up to the National League in the past decade, as well as being the boss of Eastleigh in the league above. So what kind of style of play will Bradbury bring to Dagenham and Redbridge potentially? He's known for his pragmatic and attacking approach to football. Whilst having specific formations varied, he's utilised systems that can play both 4-back and 3-back, allowing for flexibility and attacking options. But his 3 favoured formations when looking at his time at Eastleigh and Havant and Waterlooville, you're looking at 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1, or even a 3-5-2. He emphasises hard work, team cohesion, and a commitment to playing his attractive, attacking yet also pragmatic style of football. His teams are characterised by high energy, direct play, and a focus on creating goal-scoring opportunities, and he values players who are hungry, ambitious, and are willing to work hard for the team. He also seeks players with experience in competitive environments and a winning mentality, aiming to instill a culture of success within the squad, valuing players who are committed to the collective goals of the squad and can also work effectively within a cohesive unit. So when you combine the manager's style of play and the transfers he's already brought in through the door this summer at Dagenham and Redbridge, what does he need for the rest of the window? He needs a low-knee goalkeeper who can handle the physical demands and mental challenges of 6th tier football, as well as having the ability to perform under pressure and maintain focus throughout games. He needs a right full-back / wing-back who has high stamina and quickness to support both defensive duties and attacking transitions, whilst also having the ability to deliver assists, support overlaps, and even contribute in the final third, even if they're not scoring on a regular occasion. A box-to-box or two-way midfielder in the centre of the park who can press aggressively, win second balls and sustain physicality across 90 minutes, as well as being able to control the tempo and be effective in transition. And finally, he needs a right midfielder slash right winger with high energy, a relentless work rate and a team-first mentality, as well as being full of pace, full of directness, beat defenders one-on-one, deliver crosses, or cut inside to create or score goals. So let's first of all go with a goalkeeper on loan, and maybe this guy hasn't had as much senior development in the past, but someone who I think could definitely do with some senior development in this particular upcoming campaign, and that is this guy. Finley Heric of West Ham United. Now, he led the Premier League 2 in clean sheets, winning the Golden Glove Award with 7 in 18 games, and was shortlisted for the Premier League 2 Player of the Season this past season just gone. He's been praised for his confidence with the ball at his feet, impressing West Ham's first team staff in pre-season tours, and showcasing his big frame, commanding presence, and enjoys the challenges of goalkeeping. He's also been given previous praise by sporting director Mark Noble for his mentality and professionalism, so there's no doubt this guy is delivering all the traits and attributes needed for a senior loan spell at some point in the upcoming campaign. Now, when you look at highlights of Finley Heric, you can see a real goalkeeper in the making, even at just 19 years old. And you've got a player there who needs a senior loan spell. And I think with the Qatari money now involved at the football club, I think that financially it could be a big attraction for someone like a Finley Heric, who for me could do it at League 2 level, never mind 6th tier level. But I think with the money that Dagenham's got now in the bank, I do think that could be a big financial factor and a big factor overall in terms of trying to get this ambitious loan move through the door, across the line, any transfer analogies you want to find and use. So I think that this could be a very, very ambitious loan for Dagenham and Redbridge, but one that's not completely out of the question. Next, in the right fullback slash wingback role, I've gone with a permanent free agent who's just been released by Bolton, and that is the former Rochdale man, Luke Matheson. He's got excellent acceleration abilities and he's got great agility for making overlapping runs and supporting transitions. He's a proficient defender and comfortable in possession, bringing the ball out from deep and delivering quality crosses with nearly 0.91 shot assists per 90 in League 1 at 17. He reads the game well, intercepts and recovers possession effectively, albeit small in stature, so aerial contests and physical duels could be a challenge for the player until he physically develops. He's seen as a highly driven player, and after having mindset reset post-injuries, regular senior minutes at National League South level would help Matheson build physical robustness whilst retaining his technical edge. Again, this one could be seen as a very, very ambitious move, given the fact that he's just been released by Bolton, he's had minutes on loan at other clubs before, and this could be seen as a very ambitious one. Now, I think this could be realistic for many reasons. First of all, he's been suffering a lot of injuries, and I think that could be a factor into dropping down a level or two. And for me, I would think that a complete reset in a brand new environment that's just had fresh morale driven back into it, fresh positive morale driven back into the club. I think that it's a fresh start for everyone involved, the player, the club, the fans. And I think if you all reset at the same level, mentally it kind of drives you forward positively. So I think that this could be the type of environment where Luke can fully reset and really go forward. Now, as a right fullback and as a right wing back, he is adaptable in multiple positions, so I think tactical versatility is a massive trait for Bradbury, and I think he's someone who he can respect and use very, very well as a football player. And finally, I would say, like I said, I think with the Qatar-led ownership again at Dagenham and Redbridge, I think that Bradbury would buy into someone like Luke Matheson as a free agent as well. It will cost you a transfer fee, so I think it'll be just wages you have to focus on. But I do think that Luke is the perfect player for an ambitious football club who's just been given this massive new takeover to invest into the squad, bring in some proper players from levels above, and really go for that league title. And I think that Luke Matheson would be a statement of intent in the transfer market for Dagenham and Redbridge. Next up in the centre of midfield, I've gone with another EFL free agent, this time from Wycombe Wanderers, and I've gone with the former Dorking Wanderers loanee, Jack Young. He was a key starter in the centre of midfield at Dorking Wanderers, scoring goals, including a brace on debut, and providing assists. And the club's CEO described him as a disciplined and top fella whose attitude aligned with their strategy at the time. Now, he's had limited game time at Wycombe Wanderers, but earned a professional permanent contract in 2022 and has had occasional exposure at League 1 level, which will take him to any future destinations. Now, he's had limited game time at Wycombe Wanderers, but has earned a permanent contract back in 2022 and had occasional League 1 exposure exposure, which will take him to any future destinations he decides to go into. He's shown ability to contribute both defensively and offensively, and with his background at Newcastle United and multiple competitive loans, he brings a mixture of professionalism and hunger to prove himself, matching Bradbury's desire for ambitious, hungry midfielders. And I think when you look a bit deeper into Jack Young, the fact that he's been in multiple different environments means he's a more experienced player, even at such a younger age of play. You know, he's still in his early 20s, etc. And yes, he's not the most oldest of players on the list, but I think that with those different environments, I would say that his experience that he brings from different environments of different leagues, I think gives him a lot more experience than other players potentially of that younger age or that early 20s kind of age. So I think this kind of move suits Jack Young. I think he needs a permanent move at that kind of level, and I think Dagenham and Redbridge is the right club to go for. So I think it'd be really interesting to really, you know, dig in and keep an eye on this one. So I would say that this move works for all parties. I think he brings different levels of experience with him. I think he's the kind of midfielder that suits the way Dagenham will play under Lee Bradbury. And I think some of his traits, including his physicality at times, some of his flair at times, I think that he brings that very, very well into that Dagenham setup, and I think it would be a perfect move for both sides of the transfer. Finally, the right midfielder or right winger, and again, this one's a very ambitious one, but please stay with me on this one. It is Akib Adelin. He's scored 13 goals in 30 league appearances for Salford City, strongly contributing to the promotion push and earning a League 2 Player of the Month nomination at the time. He has the ability to beat defenders and exploit space in transition. He tends to shine coming off the bench, but also effective as a starter in progressive spells. He's strong in physical duels, shoots with power and precision, and is a direct player on the flank as well. He can also switch between either side, comfortable playing inverted, charging toward goal or cutting back to distribute. And whilst he is a creative player, he may need coaching to adapt to defined pressing triggers and structured roles in Lee Bradbury's system. But I think there's no doubt that he is the type of experience that Lee Bradbury needs. So this one's probably the most unrealistic of the deals, but again, with the Qatari money, you just do not know. So I think that with Akib Adelin and with his agent, I think that you've got a player there who could do maybe a one-year deal with an option of an extra year potentially. Someone who's very experienced at League 1, League 2 level, he's got experience in multiple different leagues, and someone who I think could be a very ambitious signing, as we already know at this stage. If you've not been tuning in at the minute, I think it would be an ambitious signing. But there is unrealistic aspects involved, including wages, etc. But Dagenham's money under the Qatari ownership could pave the way to take out those unrealistic ambitions and unrealistic factors of this ambitious signing, such as the wage factor, any competitive bonuses, any more financial aspects of the transfer, and really put them to the back of the minds of Dagenham fans and really bring the money into it. So it would be the more pricier of the four transfers on this list, and I think that Adelin will be the most unrealistic of the four. However, with that money involved, you just never know, especially if you've got Andy Carroll up front. You know, Adelin on the right, Carroll up front, a few more players here and there. You've got a winning squad there already. So for me personally, I think this could be a realistic transfer, but unrealistic to most other clubs at that, probably all that clubs at those levels, barring Dagenham and Redbridge with the money involved. So I would say financially this could be an ambitious deal to get over the line, but one that's not completely out of the question. So I think Adelin brings a right level of experience. I think he brings the right level of goal scoring acumen and ability, and I think he's the kind of winger that can be translated into a more right midfielder as well, that would work under Lee Bradbury. I do think he would do some good stuff under Bradbury's system. So it's clear the Qatari ownership brings fresh new intent for Dagenham and Redbridge as they want to try and get promoted back to League 1 long term. And I think a great summer here, try and win the title in National League South and get promoted back to the National League is a great first step on the road back to the third tier. And with the fans behind the club, I have absolutely no doubt that we'll be seeing the Daggers back in League 1 in no time. Now that is all for this video, but make sure you do one more thing before you head off. Make sure you like the video if you've loved it, subscribe if you're new around here, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another video. And for now, ladies and gentlemen, I am the CHALL, ta-ra for now, see you later.